You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Today's Motivation and Mindset Monday, I'm really looking forward to the show because we're going to go off topic a little bit. So a little bit kind of veer off that path that we're usually talking about when we're talking about goal setting, we're talking about goal achievement, the best way to go about that, how to set those goals specifically, and even really me trying to draw out your natural potential. You honestly have so much more potential, so much more that you can achieve in life than you even believe is possible. And the only reason you don't believe it's possible is because you haven't been shown how to draw that out. And that's what we talk about on these Motivation and Mindset Mondays. But today's a little bit different. Today's simply knowing that not every day or week is going to be your best. And there comes a time when we need to step back, reset, and that's what today's all about. It's learning that when it's time to take a break from life, when we get those signals when nothing is going our way, do we try to fight through that? Do we literally take our head and just kind of bang it against that brick wall over and over and over, trying to go through it? Or is it best to just walk backwards, take some steps back, and then see if there's another way to get around this wall? That's my philosophy. That's what I try to do. Typically, I'm a little hard-headed and I learn the hard way, but what I want to do is I just want to share with you right now that you are not always going to be in the zone. Right? You're not always going to be in that flow state. We want to get into that flow state. I'm going to teach you how to learn when you're in it, how to get into it faster, but sometimes we're just not. We're having an off day or we're having an off week. We're just stuck. Our career is stuck. Our relationships are stuck. We're stuck with health. I mean, I see health all the time. People have said, how is it going to be any different? I've already tried this. I've already tried that. I've tried to change my diet. What is there new that I could do? They're frustrated. That's the time to step back. If you've tried another protocol and it's failed once again, take a break. Take a breather. Maybe you need a few days off. Maybe you need a week off. No more than a week or two, but maybe you need a couple weeks off. Okay? And during that couple weeks, you can use that time not to feel bad for yourself, not to feel sorry for yourself, but simply to reflect. Look back at what did you just try? What have you tried in the past? What were the themes about them that either worked, even if it's just a little bit, and what is it that didn't work? Look for common themes. When you start to look at these common themes, and I've just had the fortune of literally our two locations in Boston, we've seen over 250,000 people. So I get to see themes. I get to kind of tease out what works for 99.99% of the population. What works? Now, you can do that in your own life because it's even better. You have a smaller case study, which is you, and you can look at what's working for your body, what's never working for your body. You can look at that. What type of foods, what type of diet plan, which type of supplements, which type of exercise. You can look at those types of things. But here's the thing, too. At no point should you ever believe that you're going to be in the zone for 365 days straight. There are cycles that we all go through. I call it the ebb and flow to life. You know, that's what really I've been taught from an Eastern philosophy as well. There's an ebb and flow, even in the best of times. Even when you feel like you've really achieved a higher level of enlightenment, you're going to have some lows. There's no doubt about it. You can't go through this human experience without some of those lows. Now, those people that are at a higher level of awareness, a higher level of enlightenment, they already know that those lows are going to be coming. They don't anticipate them. They're not looking forward to them, but they know that when a low comes in their life, that they're going to ride that wave and they're going to try to get off that wave as fast as possible. That's the difference, is being able to get yourself out of that low point and back into that flow state faster. I just want to share with you my life, a little bit about these cycles. I've got to know myself pretty well. I've really studied myself in depth. I live with myself. Sometimes that can be a very scary and sometimes a fun, situation. But, I am, as my wife likes to say, I'm in my own world. I live in my own world, and I really do. Again, I take other people into consideration in that world, but I try to really look deep into myself and know myself well. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at, and it's taken many, many years to find that out. I also know what type of person I am. I know what makes me happy. I know what gives me energy. And so that allows me to get in that flow state faster. And what I want to do is share with you a little bit about what I've seen in myself, what I've found, and maybe you'll start to look at these own things in your own life. And again, it just comes with contemplation and reflection. You don't need to sit down in deep meditation-based states for an hour or 2 hours a day. That's not something that I do. I do enjoy meditating, and we'll get more into that. But like I've told you before, my meditation is walking. And again, I've learned meditation. I take it with me now wherever I go. It doesn't have to be in one spot. So, I'll share more about that in the future. But what I found is this, is that I can seem to get into a really good state. I can focus and lock in on a goal for about 90 days, about 12 weeks. After that, I can't seem to hold interest in it for a longer period of time. Now, like you might say, as a naturopathic doctor, a functional medicine doctor, how can you keep seeing people then for after 90 days? That's different. That's a part of who I am. That's a part of my life. It's kind of like I brush my teeth every day. I exercise most days per week. I eat well. It's because that's a part of who I am. I'm talking about separate projects. Like, let's talk about yourself maybe as a body transformation project. You can, I believe, and that's why we do 12-week protocols as well. And this is also science-based. It's not just me, but I found that with that 12 weeks, after that 12 weeks, and again, let's use a body transformation example, you might say, okay, I'm going to lock in on this nutrition plan, and I'm going to lock in at the gym for the next 90 days, the next 12 weeks. I'm going to mark it on my calendar. And then after that, I'm going to build in a break. And that's probably going to be a week. And that week, again, for myself, what I do is I build in that week. Maybe it's a trip. Maybe it's a short trip. Maybe it's a seminar. Maybe it's a vacation. Or a lot of times, it's just simply ending that project. Now, the project can continue to live on, whatever it might be. Or it can be anything. Again, like it could not be just work-based. I'm using a work example, but I'm going to continue to exercise, but I'm going to give myself a week off from a really intense program, and it's simply going to be me going, and I might go outside for a jog. I might go for a bike. I might go for a swim. It's something light. I might just catch up on more reading. I might take the week off from the gym. I'm just going to give myself a week to relax, okay? I'm just going to give myself that down week before then moving on to my next 90-day project. I've talked about this before. There's some good books on this. I'll review those books again in the future. But what I found then is then I can get reinvigorated for a next 90-day goal. And again, yours could simply be, if it's body transformation-wise. What if you wanted to lose 30 pounds? Okay, simple. Now you want to lose 10 pounds per month in those 12 weeks. Well, what does that mean? That means every week you're going to lose, what? 2.5 pounds, right? That's 10 pounds per month. That's your new goal. And you say, well, that's only 30 pounds and my goal is to lose 60 pounds. Well, great. You're going to go for one 12-week program. You're going to try to lose that 30 pounds over those 12 weeks. You're going to take a week off, not to just binge eat, but you're going to take a week off. You're going to relax. You might take a week off from the gym completely. You might rest. You might relax. And then you're going to reinvigorate yourself for the next 12 weeks. And in that 12 weeks, you're going to say, my next goal is to lose 20 pounds. Okay, well, what is that? Now that's 8 pounds per month. That's 2 pounds per week. On average, some weeks might be 1.5, some weeks might be 3. I think that equals somewhere around 2, maybe just a little over, 2.25. So that's what you're going to look at. And that is what I call the ebb and flow to life. But it's also knowing when to take that break. So for example, if I'm just saying, wow, like this week, nothing seems to be going my way. Relationship-wise, my issues at work or issues with team or issues with not being able to really schedule my meals. I missed a workout because something came up. When those things happen, ride the wave. Do your best. Don't give up completely. Just don't, like I said, binge eat or just say, well, forget it. I'm not going to do it at all. But just understand, or that's today. I always, no matter how bad the day is, I say, you know what? Like sometimes I'll come home at night. And again, it's not too often, but sometimes I'll come home at night and my wife's like, how was your day? How was things going? I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to look forward to trying to go to bed early, putting this day behind me and waking up, and tomorrow's a new day. And I'll do that. Maybe that's once a month. And I've just learned to say, Literally, when I wake up tomorrow, I'm not taking today's problems with me. I'm just not. They're going to be there. Most likely it's not being resolved in a day, but I'm going to look at that same problem with a new set of eyes, with a new clarity, because I know that no matter what happens with that, this is just one part of my life. It's one decision that I'm trying to get through, one area, one facet that I need to overcome. And again, don't let that drag the rest of your life down with it. And you know, part of that is understanding that a lot of times when we get in a funk, we push back harder against it. And I've just learned that whatever we give our energy to, whether it's a person that we just don't like, it's that type of person that rubs us the wrong way, or it's work in general, or it is just like this, just focus. We're trying to exercise, we're trying to eat well. Don't focus on the negative. Don't focus on what you don't have. Don't focus on what you can't do or what's going wrong. When you put your energy there and when you just try to use pure willpower to drive yourself through it, it's like quicksand. It really is. The faster you move, the harder you move, the more you flail around, you're simply just going to tread water in space and you're going to start to drown. You really are. The best thing you can do is to just kind of stay still, to relax, because anything you most likely do when you're in a funk is just going to get you deeper into a funk. The words that you say, the actions that you take, they're from a negative perspective. You're typically fighting against. You know, you're writing back that scathing email. You're chastising someone. You're having that talk with a family member or a spouse. Your kids, you know, things just don't seem to be going well with them. Whatever it might be, you need to step back. You really do. That's when it's time to take the break. And it might not just be overnight. It might not be. It might be for a couple days. And you might say to that person, you know what? I'm not in a spot right now. I'm not in a position where I'm able to have a level conversation. Can we pick this back up? I know you want to talk about it today, but can we pick this back up in a couple days from now, 2 days from now? Give me 48 hours to think about this. For most people, they'll say, wow, you know, that takes a lot of restraint. That person knows that if they were to have a conversation right now, it's not going to go well. And I know that a lot of people might want to get a decision from you right then, but nothing good is going to come of it. And this same conversation that you might have with someone else, you might have to have it with yourself. You might literally have to have that conversation with yourself. Just say, you know what? I can't keep churning this over every day in my head. I have to stop thinking about it for a day or two. I need new clarity. I need new perspective. Write everything down in a journal that you could possibly think about what's going on, every thought that you could have, and then close the journal, step back, step away. Nothing more can come from you just ruminating on it and just letting the rage, the anger, the irritability, the anxiety, overwhelm build. Nothing will come from that except sickness, disease, poor health, weight gain. That's the stuff disease is made out of. You have to step back. And it's a disease in everything. It's a disease in the body, a disease in the brain, and a disease in your relationships, your disease in your work. It really is. It's not just about the body. So here's what I need you to do, is I need you to understand when it's time to take a break, but then I also want you to know when you're back in the flow state, when you're starting to get that energy where you're like, where did this come from? I'll tell you where it comes from. When you are intrinsically motivated, you don't need to try to wake up early. You're not going to need to say, oh, I got to work a little bit after work. I need to do this, this, and this. Or I need to get to the gym today. Or I need to plan out my meals. Because true motivation is intrinsic. It comes from within. You don't need willpower. Nothing needs to be built up. It's a fire. It's literally a fire inside of you that you can't put out. No one can put out. You can't even stop thinking about the idea because it excites you so much. And it might be the new body. It might be applying for the new job. It might be getting back out there and dating. It might be any of these things. That's that motivation that you know you're on the right path. But what happens if you're trying to push towards a goal and you don't have that intrinsic motivation? Does it mean it's a bad goal? Not necessarily if it's meant to get you healthier or make you a better person. Not necessarily. But it could if it's job-wise, if it's relationship-wise, or if it's otherwise, that it could be that it's someone else's goal, that it's not really yours. Maybe it's a parent's. Maybe it is a spouse's. Maybe you're doing this for someone else other than yourself. That, my friend, will always take a lot of willpower. And that motivation will not last. When I talk about 12 weeks of motivation, I'm talking about intrinsic motivation. I'm not talking about forcing yourself to get up every day out of bed and work towards a goal. That goal should be invigorating. Now, don't focus on the weight loss. Focus on how good you're going to feel when you lose the weight. The people that you may attract into your life, not because of what you look like, but because of the energy that you radiate. Same with work, same with relationships. It's about what that brings to your life, not the person, not the job. It's what it does in terms of purpose and fulfillment. Because remember, if you're better, you make everyone around you better. That's how life works. You need to radiate that energy that's contagious. You want people to want to be around you. And you don't do that by faking it. You're doing that by being the genuine you. I'm telling you, that's what gets you out of bed in the morning. That's what makes you happy. There's not a secret. The secret is not to find happiness. The secret is to draw happiness out from within yourself, because it's different for every person. You would not want my life, just like maybe I wouldn't want yours. I found something in my life that works for me. I can try to share that with you, but you can't exactly copy it. Because if you copy it, unless you're like me, it's not going to work. Again, it may pieces of it may work, but it's not going to be the genuine you. So to recap today's show, here's what I want you to do. I want you to, again, a little bit more self-intuned. I want you to know when you're feeling this energy, where did this come from? What's going on in my life? Think about it. What excites you right now? Do more of that. Try to get more into whatever that thing is. Because when you have energy in one part of your life, it radiates to the rest. When you feel good in one part of your life, it's going to carry over into those other areas that aren't your favorite. You're going to feel better because of it. And if you're ever in that low state of that ebb and flow, right? You've hit one of those ebbs. And when you're there, understand that it's temporary, but understand that you don't always want to try to go headfirst through the brick wall. Oftentimes you want to step back. You're not going backwards in life, you're stepping back. You're reevaluating so that you can calculate your next move. And that move might be a pivot. It might be deciding that whatever you're doing right now, it worked maybe in the past. Those relationships maybe worked in the past. Your job worked in the past maybe. The nutrition, the exercise, the diet, the people, everything around you may have worked in the past. But now, to get to that next level, something has to change. And that's called growth. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the people that you used to associate with, or may continue to, but in a different regards. And there's nothing wrong with the work that you've done or any of those things. It's simply that you are on a different trajectory. You are in a growth stage of your life. And I'm telling you, once you start to connect with what truly invigorates you, that's what always gets you back into that flow state. Remember that. Think about today where you are. Are you in a flow state or are you in a little bit of a low state? If you're in that funk, don't fight it. Calculate, figure out, go deeper within. What makes you happy? What gives you energy? Start to create those lists. Try to do more of that. And then don't focus on the process. Focus on that end goal for now. Because thinking about that end goal, the body you want, the career you want, the relationship you want, the health you want, when you focus on that end goal, that end feeling, that brings happiness. That happiness brings energy. That will then push you through the process to get to that end goal. Hopefully today's show helped. And as always, if this message of hope could help anyone else that you know, please do feel free to share it with them. Take care, everyone. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stevencabral.com/courses.